Here we are continuing with the Nancy Guthrie case. And I want you to know we are over day 100. Personally, I want to recognize that as it's taking too long, but I don't want the energy to feel like, oh, we're celebrating that day, because of course we're not. This just makes me so uneasy. And I think for many of you, that same feeling is coming out as well. The sheriff giving the latest interview of the word salad, of a lot, just can't answer anything about DNA and trying to act as though he's an expert, in my opinion, and yet tell us, dear sheriff, what are you an expert in? Because right now, no one seems to have any answers. Well, I've got a little something I want to tell you. For me today, does it seem like that the people around that area and the sheriff's department, this is for Nancy Guthrie, does it almost feel as though they don't want anybody now investigating? I'm going to say within the last 48 hours, they have ticketed, given a misdemeanor for some YouTube people that are there. And it's not just one. I'm going to say several are getting warnings. And one of them had their chair just a little bit on the street, and he got a ticket. And then it's turning into these misdemeanor situations and all this other things. Look, this is a public roadway. And I understand that if somebody walks on the property, that's one thing. But sitting kind of just, his chair was halfway on the roadway in front of Nancy Guthrie's. Where is the DNA? Where are the answers? Where is the sheriff, right? Now, there's something else that I want to talk to you about. In looking at the house, and let's just say this is the side of the garage, and I'm going to try to draw it out, so bear with me, all right? Because I'm definitely not an artist, but I want to look at this garage. And right here is the gate for the side yard, okay? And there seems to be a little fence here, and there's a tree here, right? And then this is the driveway that comes out, and here is the garage. Bless you, somebody sneezed in the background. Did you hear it? All right, so what is being looked at now is coming into the garage. Nancy's, every time I say garage, I think of Kelly Dever. Nancy's car, now yes, that's not a car, but it's her SUV, would be sitting at a particular place. But as you can see, if you look overhead, because, cars make tracks, even in pavement situations, even because that's, if you're going in that direction. And now this is the back of the SUV here, parked in the garage. Yes. You knew that already, though. You could tell by my excellent drawing. I'm being facetious. But these tracks, there's something wrong here. And of course, then this is the door going into Nancy's house. Are you getting the perspective now? And then around this particular tree, there were some rocks that were out of place. There's rocks all around this tree, landscaped, but then there are rocks out of place here. That's one thing, okay? That's one thing that I just am not understanding. Something or someone has messed with this. The question still stands. how, when, if, and when the son-in-law, I'm going to say it that way, dropped off Nancy. According to the sheriff's department timeline, it was 2 minutes. It was not the tire tracks of his car. They've already confirmed that. So did Nancy really even go home? That's my question. Did Nancy go home? Where was she? The only one that can answer that question is that person right there. But has he answered? No. We're not getting anything. And now they're concentrating on this DNA. Quite frankly, if it comes back that, and so the sheriff now says that it's mixed DNA. He's treating it like a cocktail forevermore. So if it comes back definitely that it's got some family, it comes back that there's something, I mean, it could be anything that maybe one of the family members hugged her goodbye. Maybe they held her hand. Maybe they kissed her hand goodbye. You just don't know. I used to kiss my grandmother's hands. You don't know. And is all this much ado of nothing? And yet now where is the family once again? There's a lot of symbolic things. And I come back now to this part where at the end of the drive, and it was over here in front of the house. At that end of the drive, we're going to continue over here. At that end of the drive, where there were, I might even use 2 sheets together here. Yeah, I think we need to spread out a little bit. Here is the front entryway. Okay, here's the house. Over here is the garage. Okay, and we're coming over here into this side. And then in here is the front door. Now, that front door is heavy. That's like an iron front door. But one thing I wanted to mention to you folks, and I know many of you have recognized it, there is a mat here that goes into the house. Why is it still there? Why is it still there? When you looked at the pictures when the feds were there, when other people are, why is that mat still there? Just like the one at the front door. Now, it may not be there any longer, but it was there at the front door at Nancy's house, right? So the investigators. Now, many people want to talk about the red stuff coming off of onto here, and it just seems like it all of a sudden stops. If you look at the investigators at the front of the house, if you look, you have some people coming out, and it looks like there's an investigator, maybe somebody from a DA's office, maybe, but their attention turns to, as you're looking at the house, this direction, and they're looking down. And it has been found that there are some droplets that belong probably to Nancy over here. And of course, you have this circle drive coming up here. Now, of course, it's not it's not in the correct proportion. I'm sorry. And Petey was jumping in one of his little Amazon boxes. He's so happy today. And I want to thank each and every one of you for sending such beautiful things to me. We love you for that. And you send cat food, and they're so happy. So now, all of this is starting to happen where this guy is looking, and of course they're all looking down at their phones. There's another one here. He's looking, and it looks like he's taking some type of, Zelda, do your best here, girl. Looking like he's taking photographs with his little phone. As they come out of the house, they go this way. There's a lot here that we've not been told. And I believe they are waiting for this DNA to come back because, yes, it's probably got a lot of family DNA. But I also want to say this. We have a mat here. We have a mat that is here. Now, usually they leave no stone unturned. But in this particular case, my question to you, and I submit to you, is did they not take it because they kind of, sort of, maybe already feel they know who it is and they just have to go through the protocol of getting the DNA back because it doesn't seem like they have anybody else? Doesn't seem like there's anything else here that is going on. And usually we have a lot more information. And of course, in the past, it was brought to light that Savannah had a $500,000 for an investigator. Okay. Did they find anything? Or I feel that they have hit a brick wall and stopped in their tracks. You know my theory on this. Grand Junction, Colorado. I spoke, one of the people that I'm in contact with contacted me, just left me a little brief message of some praying hands, and basically then just said that there were some people up there taking notice that there were a van, a truck, and some other vehicles that had their windows completely blacked out during that time frame of when she was taken. The sheriff is well aware they were not able to run any plates at all because evidently they didn't have any on the vehicles. They were dark vehicles. And that is a treacherous trek going on that north. I mean, it's desolate up there is what I'm talking about. And there might be a little side road here and there might be a little side road here. But there are some people there that are very, very well aware of that. And I'll do this. I'll say it's a theory. Do I believe that theory? Yes, because in my research, it makes the most sense. Now, I know many of you say, yeah, but if it makes the most sense, then how is this person and that person involved? Because once again, if you have someone on the high up level that wants to do some dirty work, you look for someone local. Now remember, locally, there were searches on Google Trends coming from Tucson and coming from Grand Junction, the only place in the world on Google Trends that was searching for Nancy Guthrie came from Grand Junction. When was that? Right around the January 11th date. When was that front picture or front image taken? The black and white of that. It looked like the porch guy, but without his little, belt with his little whatever on it. And standing there, and it was not in moonlight. It suggested that it is around with backing up. It's not at the same night as backing up at the same time. But I submit to you, the porch guy, when he walks up to the front porch and he comes back out to take, and here is the little shrubbery, I'll call it that. Here's the little shrubbery that he comes out and takes right there. It, for just a moment, looks as though he's looking this way. Now, if somebody wants to feel that way, that is the way they want to take her, that needs some maneuvering. Because on this side of the house, if you look, and I'm not going to pull that up, if you look at the terrain on that side of the house, you've got nothing but problems and issues with foliage. Not that, cactus and stuff. And imagine taking a woman out there in her bare feet, but I don't believe she was walking. And I still have a question of, How did Savannah know that her mother was in her night dress or in her night clothing and didn't have any shoes? When I did a remote view, it looked she was half dressed, but she also rose up as though she recognized, just for a brief moment, a person. You see, there's just too many things, and it's the whole thing of the security system. You're putting your mother on national TV, and yet you're not paying for a monthly subscription. I almost said prescription. Subscription for the service, the Nest cams, the security system. See, to me, it almost feels, well, I'll let you finish that. And if you'll do me a favor, don't put the total names, put initials in the comments for me, okay? Because then I'll be able to see them. If you put buzzwords in the comments and the names, I won't see them. Your comments get held. The same with any type of links. We're gonna play nice because we want to stay here. But I'm having problems with the maps. I'm having problems. Where are we now with this Nancy Guthrie? We, my darlings, are going to look at the cards. Stay tuned. It is always inevitable that someone in the comments will say, Zelda, why haven't you, if you mean you know where she is and you haven't told anybody? My darlings, if you know, you know. Okay? And I'm just going to say this. When you do, not if, but when you do tell, can't make anybody go look for it. You can't make the authorities go, oh, okay, drop what they're doing, because they don't. We're asking the energy for Nancy Guthrie. And this is an odd card. And I'm just going to say it again. For me, these images don't match the message. But they tell the tale. That's what we're looking for. They tell the tale. And what is the tale? Yep. And sorry about that word. Ignore it because I have no way of... See, there we go. We'll put him here for the time being. All right. Now, I'm going to put out some of this Piotnik. Now, you know what, my darlings? I'm just going to say this. I think this is telling the story of Nancy. She basically was just tossed out. She was considered to be a throwaway. What was it that they wanted to accomplish with her? Because it's one thing to have perhaps people, perhaps in Grand Junction, want to send a message. And the message would have been sent to Savannah. And if you don't understand that type of message, then maybe you need to go back and do a little research on how these things happen. But there was a lot of fake around her, a lot of fake around Nancy. And I feel that someone around her took that opportunity to say, oh yeah, okay, sure. But I'm also going to tell you, I think the opportunity went wrong in a heartbeat. I think it could have been localized someone around Nancy that basically said, sure, we're going to do this. We'll get paid to do it. And then, she'll be okay. Maybe we'll just put her out along the road somewhere. She can wander a little bit. Somebody will find her. But that didn't turn that way. See, somebody already knows. Somebody knows the tea. There is somebody other than Nancy that knows the story. And I think they're closer than what we think. And you see, there's a gift of money because, see, Nancy was the widow. She was the widow, and there was a gift coming to the fake friends, and should I say friends or acquaintances or someone close to her, we're going to say it that way, of falseness. And then the loss. But are they treating it as a loss? Because it shows here fake apology, but there's just fake. Does it feel the cards are saying fake? Does it feel that way to you? Yeah. The crime scene was destroyed. We already know that. The crime scene was destroyed. Now what? Now what? The crime scene is destroyed. There are the two people, the couple that is involved. And after it happened, and the answer is yes there. After it happened, is there regret? Yes. Are they being haunted about this? Absolutely. Will they ever have a chance to come clean? They have a chance now. Will they take it? No. They're depending upon mess-ups, but I believe this goes a little deeper. Maybe I've just watched the Karen Reed case too often. What do you think? Yeah, I think so. This is all about money. This Five of Clubs is not only an investment of time, but it's an investment of money. Whoever put this together had been thinking about it for a long time, which means it's premeditated. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I'm a forensic card profiler. I look at what people are thinking, their behavior. I try to stay away from the woo-woo, but you know what? It just comes in and you have to address it. The people now who are close to her that know what happened is experiencing fear. I feel that someone has been held back. I think there has been a good intention of someone trying to find her that is close into the social network. I'm going to say that. And yet I don't feel they've been given all of the entire story. And when you're not given the entire story and all of the details, it's really hard to come to that conclusion. What is the conclusion? Who took Nancy? Why? And especially, where is she? She's been missing a very long time. But these people, as you know, are now experiencing this fear. The fear of people looking closer. Wow. The fear of perhaps being found out. And here is the yes card. Now, one thing interesting about the yes card in the Cartomancy, if you turn it this way, and this is the only card that if it comes out reversed or upside down, however you want to say it, and this heart happens to be upside down, that means someone has been playing emotional games. But this tells me right here that yes, this was thought out for a long time. I think even in early 2025. And I think that some things happened and then this happened, and there was more to this story than what could ever meet the eyes. Let me see this. Getting a room. I think that these people did get a room after this was over. I think that they had to collectively regroup. I think that it was not for pleasure, but it was to decompress, because I think there was a very bad situation happened during the taking of Nancy, and that is her expiration, her ticket to paradise. When you mess with an 84-year-old woman who has heart problems, what do you think you're gonna get? What's on the bottom of this? What are we seeing? A message, a letter. Okay, so there's more coming. And when I looked into this yesterday, and I didn't have a chance to post, when I looked into this yesterday, more coming, there is more coming. And I believe, though, that in this fall and in September and October, we may get some more solid, concrete evidence that we can talk about. But through the summer, I hope that they can find where she is, because at this point, I'm going to say it this way, she just may be all over the place. And I'll let you come to that conclusion of what you feel that may mean. And it's unfortunate. I just don't think, I've got another deck here. I'm going to grab it real quick. This is my grandmother's The Gypsy Witch fortune-telling cards. If you get these, make sure that you get this one. There's two versions. And this is the version I have and I prefer. So here we are, my darlings. What's just one card, and then we're going to look at the bottom card, and that is this. We haven't seen that in a long time. The Lion, sudden shock from bad news is coming. And on the bottom of this deck, the lilies, and the lilies always for me indicate someone has passed. Hang in there, my darlings. More news is coming. We're not going to let this go. I'm not going to quit. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be at the Vale Keep channel tonight at 7 p.m. and tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Both times are Eastern. We're going to be looking more into the energy of Nancy Guthrie's home. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.